Hey guys, I hope all is well. Thank you for joining me for this Truth Talk episode. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Lil Durk's dark price for fame. Let's get right into it. Lil Durk is currently one of the top-selling artists in hip-hop. A once-forgotten rapper from the early 2010s managed to make a major comeback years later, finally achieving mainstream success. Right when everyone thought it was over for Lil Durk, he surprised the world by dropping countless hit records and even collaborating with the biggest artists in the industry. It's rare to see an artist that the world has forgotten make a comeback and manage to make it to the top. How exactly did Lil Durk go from the end of his career to becoming the biggest artist in the industry? I believe Durk, like many other artists we have spoken about, has paid a devastating price for his fame. It appears that Durk, just like the rest of the big artists, took the Masonic oath for his fame. Durk, just like many other Masonic puppets, actually performed at a Masonic lodge early in his career. As you heard for yourself, Lil Durk states that he will be performing at the Masonic lodge. In my opinion, Durk has been a Masonic puppet since then, especially since he's a member of the Black Disciples. I recently did a full video on the Black Disciples, and we uncovered that they seem to be connected to the Masonic Order. This to me explains his close relationship with Young Thug, another member of the Freemasons. Thug and Durk seem to be close, buying each other gifts, with Durk even moving to Atlanta. Durk and Thug have plenty of songs together, which show just how close they truly are. Masonic brothers are known to look out for each other in every way, and to me, Lil Durk appears to be a Mason. What's even more interesting is that Durk is one of the artists like A$AP Rocky who for some strange reason, death seems to follow them around in their career. Every time Durk saw success in his career or dropped a project, mysteriously, someone would pass away. Durk has lost cousins, brothers, and close friends, all while his career continues to go up. I found this strange, and it made me want to look into each passing. The first person to pass away as Durk's career was starting to take off was Durk's rival gang member, Lil Jojo, an 18-year-old kid that was a part of the insane Gangster Disciples. Lil Jojo and Durk's beef started all the way back in 2012 when Durk dropped his song L's Anthem, dissing Lil Jojo's gang 069 Brick Squad, a set a part of the insane GDs. Lil Jojo took this diss personally, immediately making a diss song responding to Lil Durk's song called 300K, dissing the entire Black Disciples. This is what started the beef that would eventually cost Lil Jojo everything, some simple rap lyrics. The two camps would begin to trade disses, with Durk's career starting to gain momentum off that drama. Lil Durk made several diss songs dissing Lil Jojo and all his associates. Lil Jojo kept on responding until he would sadly get caught slipping one day after tweeting out his location, tagging Lil Reese, who was associated with Durk and Keith. Shortly after this tweet, Lil Jojo will be taken out while riding his bike on September 4th, 2012. Lil Durk, Lil Reese, and Chief Keef were all seen celebrating his passing and dropping his name in songs. Many people think Lil Durk, Chief Keef, and Lil Reese all played their role in what happened to Lil Jojo. Lil Durk's career only got bigger after this, getting the attention of Atlantic Records, who signed Durk just months after what happened to Lil Jojo. This would be the first person that passes right when Durk would start to see success, an occurrence that would continue until this very day. Lil Jojo passed away, and Lil Durk signed a major record deal with Def Jam, dropping his first official hit song, This Ain't What You Want. Durk would continue making music, getting himself ready for his next release in July of 2014, called Signed to the Streets 2. Less than a month before he would release this song, he would lose someone close to him. In June, just days before Durk dropped this project, Signed to the Streets 2, his cousin OTF Nunu would pass away in a brutal incident. Durk's cousin was caught by mystery people in traffic, approaching him with straps and letting go into his vehicle. OTF Nunu tried driving away from the scene, but didn't make it far at all. The mystery men managed to take out the young inspiring rapper. The very next month, Durk dropped his mixtape and continued to get even bigger, almost using his cousin's passing as fuel. The very next year, Durk would once again experience loss, right before he would go on to drop his biggest project at that time, his debut album under Def Jam, Remember My Name. In the end of March 2015, Lil Durk's manager, OTF Chino, faced a similar end to Durk's cousin, OTF Nunu. OTF Chino was sitting in his car when again a group of people approached his car and let go into his vehicle, taking OTF Chino out. Just a little over 2 months later, Durk drops his debut album, his most successful project at that time, landing on the number 16 spot. And already, he was associated with 3 different people that passed. After this, Durk's career will start to slow down, dropping his next album under Def Jam, Lil Durk, 2 times, only selling about 17,000 copies first week, completely flopping. This album's performance was a decline from his last album that did 28,000 copies first week. After this, Lil Durk would be basically shelved until he was dropped in 2018 after being signed to Def Jam for 5 years. At this point, it looked like Lil Durk's career was over and done with. And strangely, for the years after that, he wasn't in the spotlight and his projects were going unnoticed by the majority of hip-hop fans. No one else associated with Durk will pass, at least for a short time. In 2018, the same year Lil Durk was dropped from Def Jam, he would make the greatest move of his career yet, signing King Von to his OTF record label. Durk signed Von in 2018 and quickly began to push out Von's music to his audience. Durk and Von would go on to release multiple songs together. Later that year, King Von would drop the hit song Crazy Story that would change both Lil Durk's and King Von's career forever. Crazy Story got the industry's attention and was Von's real introduction into the industry. Von will continue to drop big records that only kept on getting bigger and bigger. As Von grew in success, so did Lil Durk, as in 2020, when Von was at his peak, Durk managed to be a part of Drake's hit song, Laugh Now, Cry Later, which ended up being Durk's biggest record. Right as Durk was about to drop the song that would put him back on, Back in Blood, the rapper he had just signed 2 years earlier passed away the same day the Back in Blood song was released. After King Von's passing, that's when the world truly saw Durk's career reach new heights. Durk would drop countless hit singles and even released a project that topped the Billboard 200 charts. Lil Durk had never seen this kind of success before ever. This incident caught my attention from the moment it happened to Von, as there were so many coincidences that painted a complete different picture to me. First, and most importantly, Durk just coincidentally dropped the hit song that truly put him back on the mainstream the same day King Von passed. On top of this, the name of the song reveals a lot, Back in Blood. Durk made his comeback in blood, which I interpret as Durk paying in blood for his comeback in the music industry. Also, it appears that what happened to King Von was in the late hours of the night, between the hours of 2:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. We all know that 3 a.m. is considered the witching hour, and it's known that occultists call it the devil's hour as they perform rituals. It was also reported that Von was never supposed to go to that nightclub that night where the incident between Von and Lil Tim took place. According to Von's manager, he claims that Von, for whatever strange reason, ditched the rest of his security and headed to the nightclub which he was told Quando was attending. Another reason people think Durk has something to do with what happened to Von was because of the situation Durk and Von had in Atlanta. Back in 2019, Durk and Von were arrested and charged for allegedly robbing and letting go at a man. Durk and King Von were both seen on camera unloading at the man before taking his money and his jewelry. Von was arrested, and Durk shortly turned himself in afterwards. Both Durk and Von would eventually be released on bail, but the case was still active when Von passed away. This case was looking bad for Durk and Von, as the prosecutor claimed to have video footage of Durk doing the crime alongside of King Von. So it was especially surprising when the charges were dropped after King Von passed away. People think that Lil Durk might have had something to do with what happened to Von, as after Von passed away, the authorities seemed to drop Durk's charges, putting the blame solely on King Von. I myself never believed the story reported on what happened to Von. We must also remember, Durk and the major labels both greatly benefited from the passing of King Von. Von was signed to Lil Durk and Empire Distribution. What's interesting is that we have spoken about Empire before and how so many artists seem to pass away right at their peak, leaving Empire to collect all the money these rappers made. At this point, it is known that every record deal comes with a life insurance clause, meaning that the labels receive a life insurance policy payout in the millions whenever a rapper passes away. In this incident, Durk and Empire were his labels, and they both received a payout plus all of his future music revenue. Another thing I found while researching was the fact that Lil Durk and Von weren't really that close before the music. Many people think that Von and Durk were super close the whole time, but this is not true. King Von was from O Block and Durk wasn't. What connected them was that they were both a part of the Black Disciples, but not from the same block. I don't think Durk was loyal to Von or O Block, he just saw them as his ticket to millions. Now it's even being reported that some guys a part of O Block associated with King Von have actually been dissing Lil Durk in 2023. O Block doesn't seem to be rocking with Lil Durk, and I believe they know something we don't. I believe Von was set up that night. It wasn't random. The people that took out Von were all industry artists. Artists who we know are all Masonic puppets. Quando Rondo is associated with NBA Youngboy, and I have proved that NBA Youngboy is a Masonic puppet. It's obvious Von was never supposed to be there that night, so it's interesting to me that Quando Rondo and Lil Tim were the ones responsible for what happened to King Von, as it seems like it was all planned. It's obvious Vaughn was never supposed to be there that night. Someone convinced Vaughn to travel to that nightclub that cost him everything. After all of this, Durk would go on a crazy run after dropping his album The Voice that probably showed Vaughn on the cover. This album just so happened to be Durk's 6th studio album and his best performing album at the time. We know this numerology is telling. His album just so happened to depict a lost soul on the cover, and it was his 6th studio album that took him to the top. This album would eventually sell 68,000 records, climbing to the 3rd spot on the charts on his 2nd week, which was technically his 1st week. This was a massive improvement from the beginning of his career, even when he reached his peak back in the 2010s. Durk's career would only get even bigger after this, but only after the loss of more loved ones. After having his biggest year so far in 2020, 2021 would prove to be an even bigger year for Durk, but at a sinister price. On June 4th, 2021, Lil Durk released his biggest album yet, selling 150,000 copies first week and hitting the #1 spot with the collaborated album he made with Lil Baby. But again, Durk's success came paired with a loss, as just 2 days later on June 6, 2021, his blood brother D-Thang sadly passed after some people approached him outside a nightclub in Chicago. When D-Thang passed, Lil Durk only got bigger. It's also interesting to me that both Vaughn and D-Thang passed away on the 6th, with Vaughn passing November 6th when Back in Blood came out, and D-Thang passing away June 6th, 2 days after Lil Durk's #1 album. To me, his story seems very similar to A$AP Rocky's story, a story that we spoke about recently in this video. We know these Masonic puppets have to take the oath in order to have the world. Some of these artists pay the ultimate price to rise to the top, which it appears Durk was willing to do. You guys tell me below if you think these incidents were connected, or if it was all just a giant coincidence. Today, Durk recently signed the biggest record contract of his life. Sadly, Durk and Vaughn were used by record labels to spread the destruction agenda to urban communities. I know most people are going to say that this is all street related, but I disagree. All of these passings of Durk's close ones gave Durk a boost and took him to new heights. We know how dark the industry really can get. We have to remember what these artists' purpose are. They are trying to guide the masses to a burning end. Well, like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we also must remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I just want to give a special shout out to the Truth Movement members. I truly appreciate every single one of you. If you'd like to further support the channel, join the Truth Movement, or you can join me on Patreon where I drop exclusive videos monthly. The link would be in the description. Another way you can further support the channel is by checking out the Truth store and seeing if you find anything you like. Every purchase you make goes directly to helping the channel and furthering Truth Records. Also, please leave a comment on your thoughts below and on any future topics you would like to see me cover on my channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop new videos. If you like this video, please leave a like as it helps other people find these videos. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram and follow me there for more truth. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.